Welcome back to Vidanza Disc Golf. Today we have another Bag It or Bin It, the last of the Patreon sponsored Bag It or Bin It. My patron wanted me to review the Ballista Pro, specifically a new Gold Ballista Pro and a used Gold Ballista Pro, which was very hard to get my hands on because I wanted to get the Gold Line Burst used one. And so shout out Kaola, who I did a battle with. But honestly, this plastic can stand up to time. So I'm not sure if it's actually going to be significantly less stable. But with all these Bag It or Bin It's nowadays, my bag is pretty much set. So I want to be reviewing this against the farthest flying discs in my bag right now, which are Echo Star Destroyers, which go very far. And then this is a Ricky 2-time Star Destroyer, which is a little more stable, which is how I expect these to fly, because these are 14.403. I'd say this flies more close to like a 12.50, 2.5 or something like that. The rim is definitely big. The dome on these is really nice, but I imagine these are going to be pretty stable. But I've heard from a lot of people that say that the Ballista Pro is the farthest flying disc in Latitude 64's lineup. So we're going to be testing that today. For my farthest flying disc in the bag, we're going to play 6 holes too, by the way. If I can't be par, they get given away. You guys know the drill if you've been here long enough. All right, so our first hole here, they call it a par 4. We're going to play it as a 3, make things more interesting. There's a couple par 4s that we're going to play as 3s here. I've noticed that this Gold Line plastic is some of the best plastic, especially the Burst from Latitude, compared to the Royal Line even beats in faster than this. I have some Royal stuff that beats in pretty fast, which I'm happy about because one of the discs in my bag that you'll see tomorrow, is a Royal Line disc. And then we're gonna throw my Star Destroyer, which is my overstable one, because a lot of times you can mimic what a beat-in disc does by having a different plastic, like this Echo Star one, which I think this is gonna be significantly flippier. This is one of the flippier Echo Star Destroyers that I have, I think. I haven't thrown it a ton, but we have a slight left to right, 401 feet uphill, maybe about 10 feet. I'm guessing, just because Ballista Pros are stable and fast, I'm gonna have to throw out hard on some Annie because we're up at Denver elevation as well. Maybe a little high. It's gonna be a little short, but maybe 40 feet. Just a little bit big in my hands. It doesn't feel like a Nuke or a Boss. It feels like between that and a Rive, which is interesting because a Rive is also 13 speed, Nuke and Boss are 13 speed. I'd say probably Rive is 13, Nuke and Boss are 15, this is 14, so probably pretty accurate. This one should be a little flippier, a little lower on that same line. I like it. Okay, that one actually is pretty flippy. It's not significantly flippy, or you wouldn't be able to tell unless you throw relatively hard, but that's up there. That's a circle 1 putt. We're gonna start with the Star Destroyer, which will mimic that first Ballista Pro. It might actually be a touch less stable, might be more similar to the second, but that's also probably because the speed is a little slower, which I think makes 12 speeds a little more controllable, especially if you have smaller hands. Yeah, so I definitely released that a little flatter than both of those other ones, and it's still riding down there. A little short because I didn't really get all the turn out of it. This one, I'm definitely gonna release flat and just try to juice it. I think this one I could juice the basket. These things go far, especially these Jessica Weiss ones. Something about them, the mold that they use for this one compared to the other Echoes, goes so far. I burned it. Threw it too low. I threw it past the pin, but I threw it too low. Well, let's go make some putts, make it interesting. So this is one of the reasons why Ballista Pros are something this fast, even like a Boss. First of all, I don't really think I'm throwing hard enough to see the difference between the two. And second off, the faster the disc is, the bigger the wing this way. So if it gets a little bit more nose up, it can be taken a little bit easier. So that's why I think this one, I threw it just as hard as that Destroyer. I felt like I threw that one worse on a much less flex line, and it's 10 feet farther. Even though it's only a 12 speed, I think a lot of that is because of the nose angle. You get the nose angle right, I think these will go farther because the wing is bigger. You throw them with the same power, but the nose angle on the 12 speeds is way more forgiving than the 14, which is why I prefer those. Oh, that's so good. No, I didn't mean that at all. All right, we threw this one actually pretty much exactly pin high. I threw it so low, didn't give it any time to flex. Don't leave yourself 45 footers. Oh, that wasn't a bad putt, but it wasn't a good putt. All right, our second hole here is 340 feet down the hill. We're gonna push a forehand at it with all these guys. Any birdies? No, because I stink. Okay, Ballista Pros still have the box then. We're gonna throw still the more stable one. These ones, I think since we're going downhill, we can just push a wide hyzer, but I wanna keep a little bit of a tight flex on them, just because I think that'll show us a little bit more the difference in stabilities, because there's different points where it gets over. See how long it holds that. That'll show us a lot of the stability differences between these two Ballista Pros. And then I'm gonna have to throw those Destroyers very different, but I kinda like that. Oh man, that's what happens when you release it early on a disc that's a little bit too wide for your little baby hands. Extra concentration. The rim wants to come out of my hand so much faster. There we go. significantly better. I basically am just throwing these against Ballista Pros, not because they're pretty similar, but because I'm gonna start, when I review discs, reviewing them against stuff in my bag, because that gives me more time to practice angles on these, because I throw funky shots and that can be helpful to learn. So we're gonna go destroyer, probably flat to the left. Juiced it. When I said left, I meant like inside of the tree line the whole time, and then it would have been parked. Now this one, we're gonna have to put a little hyzer. Feels so good in the hand though. Still flipped up, but that flip is gonna give it a nice big skip. I like that disc. It's a good one, it's a good disc. Real quick, obligatory glitch shot, you know? Edge circle. We got a putt here, not a great one. Definitely a little bit of early release. I've noticed on my forehands a lot of times, I've honestly been releasing a little bit more at my side instead of a little more forward. I think that's just gonna take a little more practice because I haven't been practicing it. But it especially comes out there with this fast of a disc because the disc is moving through the air and it's traveling around my fingers. And when the rim is a little bit too big for my hands and I'm not concentrating on it, it rips out a little faster. So that could be something that if the disc is too big for your hands, you keep noticing early releases, maybe try a slower speed. It might work for you. Let's go. All right, double Ballista Pro birdie. Then we got the destroyer over there. It's a pure I threw. And then the second destroyer. Where did the other destroyer? Oh, way back here. Oh, it didn't lift it. All right, hole 8, we're 337 going to the basket that's straight down there. We're gonna actually, because it's only 340, I think it's just the speed thing. Like, I just don't like throwing them at that speed. I like throwing the 12 speed, so I'm probably throwing them a little bit more like 12 speed, so they're going a little bit less far. But I wanna throw these as spike hyzer shots because there is a drop off to the left, and we want something to spike into the hill to the right of the basket and just sit, because we're gonna call it OB to the left there. But let's just have the box though. Got some birdies. The store's got a birdie. We're gonna go the new one first, actually try to give it a good rip, you know? Well, it spiked in by the basket. Definitely got a little flip up. I'm not throwing that wide enough though. Go in, please. No! Those are pars. Oh, man. Oh, that almost held on. Okay, remember I said to throw it to the right? Let's like try to do that one time. Got some pars. Par down on the last one, unfortunately, but I mean, that's why you go be past the basket, you know, or right at the basket. This one is 360-ish over this hill and back to the left. So basically I want to crest right where it dips down and have it start to finish. So the ballistas I'm going to both throw an hyzer. This one a little less than the first one. And then the destroyer, touch of Annie. And then the echo destroyer is going to be probably flat at it. We are going uphill into slight headwind, so it might make it a little more difficult. Ballistas still have the box. Probably want that to be a little bit more to the right, but that thing is pretty stable. These Ballista Pros are pretty stable. That's much better. As long as it gets over that hill, that's really good. Just crested it, but I think that's inside circle. Star Destroyer, Ricky baby. That was a lot flatter and actually more hyzer. Goes far. That shot with its echo is really good, but that slipped a little. Perfect little hyzer. I think that's gonna be parked. So very much right on with that echo destroyer. It is interesting. I was expecting there to not be as much of a difference, but I definitely see the difference between these two ballistas. Ah, my circle 2 putts haven't been on. This is kind of good. I like it. That's fine. On those ones, my miss has been so high that I'd rather honestly put it into the cage of the pole than juice it for the easy comebacker. Ballista Pro still ahead, but everything's getting under par. That's what you like to see. All right, this one's interesting. It's 345 uphill. I want to get another good idea of, I was gonna say the forehand, but I think just a slight flex backhand at it. We have a slight tailwind, so I want to see just if we can throw a flexy backhand that parks the basket with all these drivers. This is a shot that I might throw a 9-speed. I'm actually filming another video, don't tell anybody. That was yesterday's video that I'm also gonna throw some disc on, but I think we're gonna start with this destroyer since we parked it. Honestly, this is gonna be flat because I think it'll turn out of my hand, even in the tailwind. I really like that disc. Those Jessica Weiss ones, go so far. They go so freaking far. And now this star one, since we are in a slight tail, I am gonna have to turn this one on my hand a bit. A little more flat than turn, but it got all the distance. I'll tell you what, I know people love these Ballista Pros. I threw them a little bit when I first got started. Didn't have the arm sheet for them. I do not like them very much. Like, they're not bad. I think it's just I've started to find what I like, and it's not Ballista Pros. That was not turned over at all. That's terrible. A little dangerous. Keep it low. Good layup. Okay, these three drivers have a great little spread here. Star Destroyer, which I honestly threw too flat. Ballista. My Echo, baby. All right, last hole here, 410 feet, going with all of these babies. Echo's gonna be hyzer out there, 410, easy hyzer. Honestly, maybe even spike hyzer because of how glidey it is. The rest of them we're gonna flex a little bit just so we can get them to sit by the basket. So throw them a little right. And I think, I don't know who's got the box. Oh, it's gonna be Destroyers for sure. We're gonna start with the Ricky guy. Too high in this wind. Actually, maybe not. Dig. Oh, a little short, no push. Now, Jessica Weiss Echo. That might be too far. No, I kept it on hyzer. Skipping. Oh, it died. Match play, gonna have to flex this guy. Oh, that's a really good shot. And a little less flex with the used one. Yeah, that'll hold. Keep it low. Slight skip, slow skip. Let's go. Those are great shots. All right, I just totally forgot to turn this on, but there are people behind us on this tee pad. We let people play through and I threw 7 shots. I birdied with the Ballista Pros, both of them. Parred with both of the Destroyers. I think I'm glad to have thrown these Ballista Pros again. I'm not looking forward to throwing them another time. They definitely feel slightly more stable. They feel closer to like Calvin Destroyer in terms of like wing size, but they're not as stable as a Calvin Destroyer is. So definitely excited for these Destroyers, especially because I'm more of a hyzer releaser now. I've been able to throw a little bit more on Annie, as hopefully you've seen today, but yeah. Big shout out to the patron who requested this. I'm pretty sure everything's under par. If it's not, I'll cut in now with another edit and do a giveaway for these guys. But Echo Destroyers go so far. Support Jessica Weiss, and these things are bomb. These are such good discs. But I'm really excited to share my bag with you guys tomorrow. If you want to check out the last bag at Bin It, it's actually for the Insanity, which I filmed at the same time as this. So my edit is going to be all discombobulated. But if you want to pick any of these up, I'm still running a sale on them. 15% off an Insanity. And if you buy an Insanity, you'll get 20% off anything else. So trying to clear house before my season gets started and I start to travel a little bit more. See you guys in the next one. Okay, love you. Bye.